Hi, this is Steph, and today we're looking at how to write a winning HSC essay response for the HSC English Exam Paper 1, Common Area of Study, Discovery. Section 3 of the paper will be the first year that we will have a question on discovery. However, we can base our practice question on the old topic of belonging. The 2011 question on belonging looked like this. It asked you to allow about 40 minutes for the section and to answer the question in a separate writing booklet. The instructions underneath that you see here will look much the same as your exam paper will look for your HSC. The question says, explore how perceptions of belonging and not belonging can be influenced by connections to places. In your response, refer to your prescribed text and at least one other related text of your own choosing. We might rephrase the practice question as follows. Explore how discoveries can be made by connections to places. In your response, refer to your prescribed text and at least one other related text of your own choosing. Let's deconstruct the question. The main parts are we need to explore the ways in which discoveries make connections to places. We also need to refer to our prescribed text and at least one other related text. We could rephrase the question like this. How are discoveries made through the connections to places in our texts? We will use our prescribed text, Rainbow's End, and either of our related texts, The Sapphires or Untitled Teacups and Oysters, to answer the question. In this practice example, we'll be looking at the sapphires. The first thing to do is to make a mind map like this, with the name in the middle of the text, and around the outside we'll put down all the places from the text and the discoveries that are made through those places. Now obviously if you've got 40 minutes for your essay, you won't be able to write about each one of these places in great detail. You'll just pick the main ones and go into those. But for the purposes of the practice question, I'd like us to look at all of them. So in Rainbow's End we look at the flats. In the flats we discover that the flats distinguishes Aboriginal people from the townspeople. We also discover how Dolly and Errol feel about the flats, and Dolly and Errol discover each other. We look at the cork trees. The audience and Dolly discover the dangers and degradation brought on by despair in the cork trees. The last scene in the drafty hall is quite significant. Gladys, Errol, Nan and Dolly all make significant discoveries in this scene. The park bench is also significant. Gladys and Errol make discoveries about each other, and Gladys learns to read and write. At the Rumballara house, Nan, Gladys and Dolly all make discoveries about life through the move to that house. The Humpy is also an important place. Errol discovers Dolly loves her family and home, and Dolly discovers Errol doesn't understand her. It's in the bank manager's office that we discover that Gladys is illiterate and what this means for her in society. In the film The Sapphires, there are also a number of significant places. The film starts off at the mission. The mission is home for the girls, and it links discoveries about family, the importance of culture and tradition, and how much they love and value each other. At the pub in town, we discover how much racism and how many barriers are placed in front of the young protagonists. They also discover Dave. In Melbourne, Uncle Ed's house and the practice space, we discover a lot about Aboriginal culture at the time. The Sapphires also discover their talent. At the first performance in the bar in Saigon, they discover that not all countries are racist and that they can have equal rights. At the hotel in Saigon, the girls discover that the world is bigger than their own mission town. And I'm mainly referring there to the scene with Kay and the soldier. And in the war zone, they discover the brutality of war. They also discover that Yorta Yorta language can save them, and this makes them strong in their culture. The next thing we do is make an essay plan. Now we have all our ideas mapped out, we have to rephrase the question, and we've chosen our related text and produced two mind maps that explore the links between places and discovery. It's time to put our ideas into an essay format. This is what our text response essay will look like. It will have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. The body will follow this teal structure, which is a topic sentence, an elaboration of argument, evidence, and link back to the contention. The introduction will follow a lies format, which is link your opening sentences to the topic, indicate the author and title, establish a contention, and signal or signpost your arguments. The conclusion will follow a triple R content. So we will restate the contention, we will restate the arguments, and we will round off the essay. Now if we look back at our mind maps, each one of these bubbles on our mind maps could be one paragraph in our essay. And each one of these bubbles could also be one paragraph in our essay. Now obviously in our HSC exam, if we've got 40 minutes, we're not going to have time to write that many paragraphs. But for the purposes of our practice essay, it would be great if we could write a paragraph for each bubble so that we can practice using the teal structure and turning all of those concepts into paragraphs. What's next? In video 2, we'll look at how to take the work we've just done and turn it into an essay response. So I'll see you back here for video number 2.